Good afternoon, everybody. All right, this is part 2 of the surveillance. And today we're going to be talking about the dark arsenal, which is WikiLeaks, Vault 7, and the global surveillance machine. This is very, very good. And it's good to know this because this expose, I dive into WikiLeaks and the revelations about surveillance and cyber warfare. And this is from the CIA's Vault 7. And it's hacking the arsenal that turned TVs, phones, and even cars into tools for spying. And we know this. We've heard about it. And it's big. To documents proving that the NSA spied on allies like Germany, Japan, and Brazil. No one's talking about that now, but the US spies on pretty much everybody, and we have a problem. And WikiLeaks has shown the global reach of surveillance. And this is why they wanted to lock him away, and they wanted to kill him, which is wrong. Completely wrong. So we'll also today, I'm going to look at Julian Assange his warning in his book, When Google Met WikiLeaks, where he debated Google's Eric Schmidt about whether the internet should liberate humanity or serve as a tool of corporate government control. So we kind of already see who's winning on that, and that's Google, that's Eric Schmidt, because it's definitely a corporate government control right now. It's definitely not liberating humanity. I can tell you that I know, I see. So we're already one strike down on that. So this is the other half of the surveillance story. This is why I think this part is very important. And the dark arsenal of tools used not just to watch us, but to shape and control the world we live in. Our reality. That's what they're doing right now. And because if you can surveil every human, or let's just talk even about the United States, okay? Let's not even talk globally. If they can surveil every living person in the United States, then they have the game. They win. Think about it. That's how the game is played. And people don't understand that. So it's something to really think about. And I went to tons of sources and references in checking all this. So in the last video, in part 1, I want to, kind of reveal just a little bit of that, is that I explored what Edward Snowden revealed about the architecture of surveillance and the NSA's mass programs and corporate data collection. So today we're going to go further, and we're going to go further with WikiLeaks and expose the weapons of surveillance. The CIA's cyber arsenal, the global spy networks targeting allies, leaders, and the surveillance marketplace selling these tools worldwide. People are making billions of dollars. And we kind of already know that through Plantier. I mean, all their customers are governments around the world. That's why they're so damn happy. I'm not going to get into that, but we know. And this is really the dark arsenal of humanity. And it was never, we were never supposed to really see this part. But we are now because we're feeling it. Like the William Cooper, where he talked about, I never really ultimately feel free. Remember that? He says that. He was saying it for so long. He wrote books on it and on his radio talk show. And we're talking, 30 years ago or so plus. And so we're all feeling it, and we all know something isn't right. So let's go to the Vault 7 and the CIA cyber warfare arsenal. So in 2017, WikiLeaks published Vault 7. I remember this so well. The largest leak of CIA documents in history. What it revealed, it shocked us all. I mean, I was like, hacking everyday devices, which has happened to me and many people I know. The CIA had tools to compromise the iPhones, Android phones, Windows PCs, Linux systems, and even web browsers like Chrome and Firefox. I mean, they can get in. There's back doors to get into everything. And then on smart TV, spying, the Whipping Angel, it was called. And that's a program that made Samsung smart TVs appear off while secretly recording conversations with built-in microphones. And then bypassing encryption. The CIA didn't always need to break encryption. It hacked phones and computers directly, intercepting messages before they were encrypted. And this is happening right now. That's happening to people that they suspect are this and that. We're sort of now, what's happening is like there's some of us that we were talking. It's turned where, honest, good, solid, stable American citizens are being targeted for no reason at all. Or, what it is if they get caught, then they'll throw out, oh, we believe he's doing this, or we got some, intelligence that they were doing this, or they were, they start making up things. But we've become an enemy in their eyes. And it's psychotic. I believe the intelligence agencies are a bunch of psychopaths. And this is a problem, and our government is not looking into it. And I remember when I was living in San Francisco, and we would go to the park like after work and go walk our dogs. A lot of us had dogs. And I met many, many people that were working at the FBI, because there's a big, office there, and other intelligence were there. And they would come to the park and we would all be talking. And it was very interesting because a lot of them were getting paid like $150,000 a year doing nothing. And they would tell us, like, we would all be asking questions like, okay, so then if you're not doing anything, what are you doing? Well, we're spying on people like you. And I was blown away. I was like, well, how would you be able to do that? Like what? And so this was in 2000. So this has been going on for a very long time. So they also are compromising cars, and the documents suggested tools existed to infect the modern car. the control systems, and like raising the chilling, like, well, this is actually, I mean, a lot of people don't talk about this. A lot of people don't talk about this, but it's undetectable car crashes that find out it was an assassination. So they rigged the car, the control systems. I don't know if you guys remember, but it was like, I think it was like 2002. It really went through the news and they were talking about it, and then all of a sudden it went dead silence. But this is still happening. And if they can control your car, then they can assassinate you. Kind of like, remember the movie on Netflix that Obama, Barack and Michelle Obama, they made, and they showed the Tesla cars all kind of like, you know, no one can control them. They just went out on their own like that. And that they can control from a satellite the electric cars. It's known. So you have that. So if they want to target somebody, my meaning in telling you this is that if they want to target somebody, they can take control of the car. So it looks like an accident. So Vault 7 proved that our most personal devices, our phones, TVs, even our cars, could be turned into microphones and trackers. And that's happening 10 times more today as I'm speaking. I mean, it's full-blown known and people don't even know it. So I'm going to talk about the global espionage and the spying on allies and world leaders. And WikiLeaks really showed that U.S. surveillance extended far beyond enemies. So this is what I'm talking about, though. Now we're going to allies and spying on those people and states and countries. So documents from 2015 to 2017 revealed that the NSA spied on allies Japan, Brazil, Germany, France, and Israel. And world leaders like Angela Merkel, UN Secretary Ban Ki-moon, and other heads of states. And UN meetings in 2015, the documents showed that NSA bugged a climate meeting between Merkel and, is it Ban Ki-moon? I don't know if I'm saying it right, but they found, they know it. They bugged them. And this is what they do. They bug your houses, everything. They come in, they bug everywhere. And but if you have the evidence, then you got them, and you have like your own cameras that can't be detected when they come in. There's all kinds of tech, by the way, that is very interesting. There's stuff you can sprinkle on the ground, and that it picks up their track, and you can track them. It's kind of like, you know, those dog collars, and they have that. And it doesn't come off of the shoe or anything. It doesn't matter what they're wearing, whether it's steel or whatever, like stilts even, they'll be followed. So there's things like that you can do around your house and inside of your house, and you can see if anybody's come in. So there's other things you can do to combat this. But getting back to the bugging, Julian Assange called it the act of a country intent on protecting its largest oil companies. So surveillance wasn't just about terrorists, like I said. And this is the most important thing to know. It was about political leverage and corporate interest. It's about winning at all cost, spying at all cost. And that's what it's about. And they don't give a damn who you are. We have agents like in the Matrix where they show the agents. We have millions of those that they've been turning out in intelligence that walk the streets. That let's say that they want to find out something about you. They'll go to the park and befriend you and do things. So many things. They work in regular jobs like FedEx drivers. A lot of those are intelligent people. They want to see what they're being delivered, maybe to like somebody that they feel is, I don't know, whatever information they have. But you can look that up and you can see UPS drivers. This has been like decades too. This is old information. That's like old. But what's new is that pretty much like if you're in intelligence, let's say at the Navy, I'm using this as an example, and there's a lot of naval intelligence that are working the streets. A lot. More than you can imagine. Along with other things. The Air Force, just like the Richard Doty. He worked 35 years in the deception department in the Air Force. And they speak many languages. Mandarin, Russian, Japanese, whatever. And they use these people in other capacities, even influencers. A lot of them, if you go and look at their background, they're all coming from intelligence. All of them, pretty much all of them. So you have to look at that as well. So the spy files, the surveillance marketplace, and that was at the beginning of 2011, where WikiLeaks released the spy files, exposing how commercial companies sell surveillance tools worldwide. And that's the global contractors, okay? So intelligence vendors developed and sell software to governments, creating industrial scale surveillance market like Palantir and what have you. They've got ton of different companies that do that. And then they have the exported spyware, and that's Spy Files 3. That was in 2013, showed these tools being shipped even to dictatorships. Wherever the bug bucks are, remember? That's what Joe M. used to say. Wherever they can find the big bucks, where the big money's at, that's where they're at. And they'll sell their grandmother. This is how it works. It's the love of money has taken over everything. This is what I believe. And then European complicity in Syria in 2012. WikiLeaks published 2 million Syrian government emails showing European companies selling surveillance tech used to suppress civilians. And you wonder why these countries are crumbling and they, look at us. We're decaying, just to let you know. I don't want to say that because it's a Debbie Downer, but they're pushing the limits on our freedom. And then on top of it, what's happening is we are never getting to the evidence, the proof, and then to justice. We don't even get to justice. We stay in the fog of war now. where everything is fuzzy and you can't see, and it's like, well, maybe it was this and maybe it was that. Then they make up things, but we saw what happened. But oh no, you didn't see that. This person over here did it, but we know it didn't. Now they don't care what we say, and this is the way it's going to end, and this is what happened, just like with the JFK. And, this person did it, and then he got shot, and then the other person that did it got shot. You know what I mean? And it's always in the fog of war. And we never get to the justice, to a finalization where people... I mean, do you know how many people have committed treason? It's unbelievable. So the surveillance isn't just a state run. It's an international business model. And everybody's in on it. And this is what's happening. So when Google met WikiLeaks, it was this Assange versus Schmidt, let's say. Julian Assange explored the tensions in his 2014 book, When Google Met WikiLeaks, based on a 5-hour meeting with the Google CEO, Eric Schmidt, in 2011. I read this book and it's really good. Assange's vision, this is what he came with, is that the internet should be a stateless tool for exposing power and liberating information. And he accused Google of becoming a new form of digital colonialism. And it is. Remember, do no evil? And aligned with U.S. foreign policy. In Schmidt's vision, the internet as a driver for global growth, tying the world to American corporations and markets. Do you see the difference, though? And the controversy only grew. In 2013, Snowden revealed Google and other tech giants were compelled to cooperate with NSA surveillance. And in 2015, it was revealed that Google handed over WikiLeaks staff emails to U.S. law enforcement without telling them for nearly 3 years. And then Assange's accusation, he later claimed that Schmidt's team passed information from their meeting to the U.S. Department. So it was actually Schmidt that got a hold of Assange, well, his office, and was pretty much begging Assange that Eric Schmidt, the CEO, wants to meet with you for a meeting and blah, blah, blah. And then Assange says, okay, let's see. And then he turns everything over. They recorded everything and turned it over to the U.S. State Department. For Assange, Google wasn't a neutral platform. It was part of the same surveillance and architecture that Snowden warned us about. So Snowden was right, and he did a good thing. And I know a lot of people, oh, he's a spy, and he's he was a CIA, once CIA, always CIA. And you have to remember, people, you're being extremist, you're not logical, you're acting ignorant. we have to remember that within these different departments, there are some good people, for God's sakes. So when we, some people, we joke about, blowing up or whatever the 1,000 pieces in the CIA. Don't you think there's some good people there that are seeing what's happening? We have to have that. We have to believe in that, because not the whole department isn't rotten. There's got to be a few. That's how, anyways, that's the way I'm looking at it. So, turning the lens back and the surveillance of WikiLeaks, even as WikiLeaks exposed the global surveillance, the organization itself became the target. And they started going after WikiLeaks because, he was having all the drops and what have you. And so NSA considered labeling WikiLeaks a malicious foreign actor and tracked everyone who visited the site. And this is true because there's many people that were on Twitter then that was talking about this. And they also had, like, the US agencies pursued ways to shut WikiLeaks down and to surveil its supporters. And this is when I remember, because I support both Snowden and Assange, WikiLeaks, and I was pretty hardcore about it. I also read the drops, the Q drops, and there was things happening to a bunch of us that were, like, hardcore about it. And we kind of all talked about it early on in, I think it was like 2017, that weird things were happening. People were following us. Like, we got on a list, basically. And I saw it myself. And I would tell, like, my husband, my ex-husband, and he was like, really? And I said, yes. He said, he always told me, get off of Twitter, because it's all intelligent people from Intel, and that you are definitely getting on a list. 100%. Everybody knew it. And they were watching us to see if we were extremists or radicals, which we're not. I mean, we're not at all. So they did start to surveil all of WikiLeaks supporters. And I was one of them. And many people were surveilled for that. And surveilled for other things. I mean, the supporting some of the, even Trump. I mean, who knows, I mean, I don't know. People say Trump, but I don't know if it's so much Trump. I think it's like the Snowdens and the Assanges, the WikiLeaks and what have you. Because they were trying to figure out if people were basically aligned with WikiLeaks. I mean, and how much were you involved? So that's what I think. But moving along here, the Electric Frontier Foundation, or Electronic Frontier Foundation, has called this a direct attack on journalism and free speech, which I 1,000,000,000% agree. And WikiLeaks revealed the watchers. But for that, he became the watched. And we all know what happened to Assange. So my closing thought is this, is that Snowden showed us the architecture. WikiLeaks revealed the arsenal. And together, they paint one message. Surveillance isn't just unconstitutional. It creates a world where governments and corporations hold power without accountability. And as Assange said, the internet can either liberate humanity or it can be weaponized into digital colonialism. And really the choice is ours. And this is why standing up, speaking out, and the digital that they're trying to put forth and putting chips in us is the last stand. And they're already organizing it. They're setting it up as we speak. And they're, like I heard somebody say, they're not even worried about it because this is how they are. What are the little people going to say? We're going to have a crash. We're going to have a market crash. And all the money's going to be gone. And even some of their money's going to be gone. So what are they going to do? We have to tell them this is our only solution. Remember, they always say that. Remember with 9/11. We have to spy on everybody because we can never allow this to happen again. This is why you have to prepare. And this isn't a scare tactic. You have to be strong. And you have to say, no, I'm not taking the chip. So just like the other thing, when we had to wear the mask, I'm not going to say it because, I'll get banned. But, they had all kinds of things they were saying. So this is where we stand, and we're at a crossroads, and we have to stand together. And my last thing I would like to say is, with everything that's going on with like the Charlie Kirk situation, I want to say this with all my heart because I believe this. And I was listening to another YouTuber who I really like. Jean is his name. And he's right about something. Is that this isn't the time to spread hate and to go after like one group and to, in other words, I always say you gotta have the evidence. Yes, you have to search for the evidence, but until you get that evidence, name names. Name the names of the people.